Hello everyone, Casey here. Welcome to PlanetCoaster Vintage DLC. Now, this is a time lapse, my very first time lapse, and I'm first starting off building a park entrance. Now what's funny is that piece that I just had right there, I just wanted to see what it looked like. Later in the video, I'm going to have a very long time trying to find it, and I'm actually going to cut the video at that point. But yeah, Vintage Pack is out, $11. It's surprisingly not as much as I thought we were going to get, which isn't bad. I mean, look at that park entrance. The walls there are actually concrete and classic brick, and those pieces didn't want to delete when I deleted it. One funny thing is that piece, the entrance pieces are flipped around. So I don't want to use that one. I was using that as kind of a base, like a basis of what we're going to build. And I accidentally did rough concrete, and I'm too lazy to switch it over to smooth concrete later on. So yell at me all you want for that one. Yeah, first time lapse. I don't really know how to do these properly, so I apologize for that. But the Vintage Pack is out. Back to this argument that I feel like it's lacking a little bit. Like wall pieces, there could have been a whole new Victorian set. I mean, I don't mind using classic brick. It's one of my most used wall pieces, and I like it. I don't really use concrete that much, which kind of shows when I'm adding more stuff to it. I will say the flower beds actually look really nice. And here I'm adding a few trees a little symmetrically, although those copper trees over there are not. I'm going to screw with that in a little bit. But 1.7, can you believe we're already at 1.7? Man, it's just, time goes by, you know? Anyway, something that I love to do now is add extra pieces to the sides of the building. So it gives a bit more of a definite shape. You know, and there's actually no, what do you call it, the angle piece, so I had to use the wood tile ones, and I'm just looking at the doors here, because I just slapped down some of the new music pieces in the barbershop quartet. Let me tell you, I would just pay the $11 alone for that piece, and that piece only. I really would. It's just so worth it. And yep, I put the wall piece in the wrong spot there. I'm adding a few windows to make it look like there could be... It's not really a ticket booth, but it's more of just like information, kind of. When you go to a park, you see the people standing there, but you don't really have freestanding people. So I was thinking, just put down some buildings. And here's me screwing around with the paths. This is really one of the first times in a while that I've used the longest length path. And I go back to building the building now. I just wanted to put down the paths at that point. So I doubled the height of the concrete, and then I realized at this point that this was the rough concrete. And I was thinking, yeah, it looks a little different. And it turned out to use the smooth concrete. So then I put the wall pieces, or not wall pieces, roof pieces, to make kind of a secondary floor, which I'll show you in, I think that'll be in about 8 minutes. It'll take a while. And I don't think I mentioned this in this take, because I failed so many other times. This is the first video that I'm doing in Adobe Premiere, Elements, whatever they call it, the video editing. Mainly because on my train channel, Nickel Floyd Railway Studios, we are making our own series where the engines and locomotives and cars and everything talk, but they don't have faces. So it's kind of like a faceless Thomas and Friends, if that makes sense. And I've been screwing around a lot with it there. And then I was thinking, instead of me just taking a rough video, then posting it onto YouTube, why not talk about it for a little bit and what's going on without having me talk on the spot and just talk to you guys here. And yep, I had some purple pillars because if you don't know, this is a very stupid thing if you don't know. The Nickel Floyd colors, this isn't the stupid thing. But the Nickel Floyd colors are red and blue. And I'm calling you not stupid, but dumb if you don't know that red and blue make purple. Alright, it's a primary color and a secondary color make a thirdary color. I don't know what they call it. Primary color, thirdary, whatever they call it. It's purple. And purple's a good color too. It's actually, funny thing, it's one of the least used colors in mostly anything. And if you ever watch The Simpsons, which is a great show, I highly recommend. If you don't even know what The Simpsons is, that's a little sad. But The Simpsons is one of the first shows to show most purple. Because it's kind of like a pastel, darker pastel coloring. And there's purple a lot. Anyway, the flower beds, I was extremely, what's the word? Not interested when I first heard these are going to be a thing. Because I was thinking you could just put wall pieces through the ground and then put some blocks on top and then just put all your shrubbery and whatnot. But then it turns out they added a bunch of different flowers. And I'm screwing around with the colors here. Just going to say the one on the left is going to be a lot neater, and the one on the right is going to look like the flowers just grew where they wanted to grow. I'll tell you that now. But I will admit it actually looks really nice, and it turns out you can change the colors of the dirt. I was not expecting it, but I didn't change it. I'm just pointing that out. It's like any color you want, you can change it to. It's very interesting. Here I am. Oh, not yet. It's funny that the flowers are noted as bushes, but here I am adding a few bushes into the mix, and I do add a few trees. I will admit, the birch tree 3, right there, is the smallest tree that I've seen, and it fits in really well with like a small, or not really small, but like a flower garden. Looks nice. And here are the new sprinkler pieces for 1.7. I will admit, when we're going to listen to the audio in about 3 minutes, actually 4, it's going to be extremely loud. So I apologize for that. Unless I was smart and I tweaked it a bit before doing this audio take. But here I am just slapping down trees into the audio, into the pot. I guess, no, the planters. One thing is that I feel the bushes are a bit big, but I do love the game for letting you have only the tops of the bushes showing out, like I did there, instead of having like a bush half the size of that birch tree, and you can't even see all the flowers around it. Yeah, this is what I mean by I'm just slapping down the flowers compared to how nicely it was before, but in my opinion, this actually looks better. It looks more natural than what looks on the left. Now, the added flowers, I want to say, are going to really help people a lot more than what we had. Especially if you're trying to rebuild Disneyland, because one specific area, if you know what I'm talking about, oh, there's a Steam notification. I think that was Ian, or no, it wasn't Aiden. It was someone playing Trains 12, Trains with the Z, not the website to buy trains off of. But there's this game. I prefer Train Simulator. All right, anyway, back to PlanetCoaster. Not to get onto the train talk, because I'm a train guy, but anyway, yeah, just finding out the poles, really good, and we're gonna really use those a lot in this park. I can see it, and I'm definitely gonna redo that part where I put the thing there, because seeing how you can use it, I'm gonna rechange it all. But yeah, back to the flower thing. In Disneyland, which I've never been to, and I've been screaming to go to, and I've yet never been. There's this one area of the park with, well, can you guess who? One of my favorite Disney characters, my boy, Casey Jr., the steam locomotive from Dumbo, if you know that story. The whole reason why my account for Minecraft when I was 9 years old was because I was watching the film a lot and get the character out of my mind. I never bothered to change it, and that's a little story behind that. But the storybook canals and the Casey Junior Circus train have a bunch of flowers everywhere. They're not really flowers, but they look like flowers. And I feel like those would help out a lot if someone's trying to do that. Or carousel cues. You tend to see a lot of flowers near carousels. I don't know them at all. But I have seen the cues for them, and a lot of them featured flowers. And here it goes where the audio's in, so... Oh. I did lower it. Good for me. But what I'm doing here is adding in the music for the park entrance. It's going to go in the ceiling, and I do apologize, I can't fast forward this part of the video. For some reason, it didn't want me to, or not this part, but after this, it didn't want me to fast forward anything. It was acting really strange. And there's one of the guys walking in, but he's like, oh, there's nothing to do here. The entrance does so good though, but nope, I'm going home. Anyway, I picked the music for it. Well, I'll just take it. Apologize for that. There it is. And we're inside the tree. Now this part I would speed up, but you see, it's going the normal speed. The music down. Oh, can you guess what I'm doing here? I bet $11 enough to buy this pack. You don't know what I'm putting in here. Of course you know by now. What's my main company? Hello? What's the name of the park? Well, it's actually not the name of the park, it's the company name. I just can't fit it. Also, it's funny, the O is actually set looking like the middle, but the L is actually to be the middle, but it's actually off. I find that to be a bit of a flaw on my part, if I can speak. Oh boy. Well, the big controversy is that the company is actually one name. 2 words, making a compound word, it's only one name. Or one word. But the YouTube channel is actually spelled in 2 words. I have not yet found out how to change that. Actually, it was originally going to be Nickel and Floyd, but we just changed it to Nickel Floyd as one word. Oh yeah, pause the game here again, and it's about to speed up. I apologize for it going this slow. Actually, no, I think this is a jump cut. Is this the jump cut? Or is this when it speeds up? Oh, yep, that was a jump cut. So what I was doing was I was putting down lampposts and expanding the path a little bit, because a man that I met, who's an Australian man, who's, I said this already, I met him, and yes, the bandstand's facing the wrong way. I fixed it, don't worry. But Flavaliki, James Turner, this is me. If you ever find this video, everyone send this video to James right now. Tell him Casey's alive doing videos. I got his autograph, he got mine. But yeah, he did this little thing, not like I did it, but he put the bandstand into this big area of a path. Now mine's is more of a concert area, where you'll see I have it standing there, and I end up pushing it back because the people are walking through, even though I put the barriers in. It's mainly because I made it a Vista Point piece, so people ignore that, just walk over to it. There we go, there's a Vista Point. And this is one thing I love about the Vista Point. You can change the name of it, so I changed it to Viewing the Quartet. So if you click on someone, it's going to say, you know, the person viewing the quartet, or I'm going to change it to listening if I didn't do that already. And I'm adding a few trees. The new tree cover thing is a bit small. I understand you wouldn't really want a huge sycamore tree in the middle of your park like there, but the roots do go through it if you want it back and see it. Also, I don't know how off the audio is going to be, but I'm going to be a little bit upset if it is offset, because I don't feel like tweaking it. Yep, here we go, I finally found the pieces, and during that whole time I was trying to find these poster pieces, and here comes the best part. I forgot to jump cut this because I screwed this up, and I have to do it over 3 or 4 times. Anyway, while we're waiting for that, I guess I'll talk about the vintage pack. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm never done with it, don't worry. But I definitely feel like there was more potential. More roof pieces, more wall pieces. To be honest, I would not pick the 2 spear pieces off the sides of the entrance as the top. I would. I feel like there could have been 10 rides. And I said this in a video, in a comment section of a video where Bo from PlanetCoaster was talking about what it's going to be, and I put a large comment in there, and from memory, I'm going to tell you what it said. The vintage pack, and this is before we even got it, and it is confirmed with one of the things. The vintage pack, I feel, is lacking a little bit. I definitely spent the $11 for it. I think the barbershop quartet piece and the band organ piece is pretty nice too, but I think it pretty much pays for itself. But Frontier, what they did was, once again, I'm not a guy who's interested in this. I definitely do not see me anywhere related to this, but they rendered a new carousel for scenery piece. I was thinking the Venetane, is that how you say it? Venetane carousel was the smallest ride in the game. The vintage pack rides don't have a big footprint. Anyway, here's a part where I was listening to the Quartet because it's just so good. So good to listen to. But no one was walking into the park yet until I put in a popcorn stand. Anyway, here I'm just going to put some fencing around the pathway. But yeah, they rendered a new carousel scenery piece, and the band organ piece is nice, but it's just a bit too quiet. As you'll see in the second video, I actually put in a carousel, and I put the band organ piece, but it's too quiet. So I had the ride playing the music instead, which is a bit sad. But, I don't really know. I've only seen one in my entire life. There's this mall. If you don't know, I don't live in Danbury. I live in Connecticut. And in Danbury, there's a railroad museum. Danbury Railroad Museum, great place to go. I volunteer there if you ever want to meet up with me on an off day. Not too far away is this mall called the Danbury Fair, and they have a double-deck carousel similar to the Venetane. The PlanetCoaster render actually looks a bit smaller than the real one. So I was thinking, are we going to get like a larger carousel? And I'm looking at this food stall to get kind of an idea, and I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. Let's put in a popcorn stand, because I wanted to see what that is. I want to put in a gumball machine too. I don't know if that does like happiness or food. Oh no, I tweaked the park entrance a bit more. And then another thing would have been because of the boardwalk scenery piece. Oh, here comes the best bit of music in the game. Here it comes. But that one screenshot of like the boardwalk park that everyone was going nuts over. Now, it's a very heavy park, if you know what that means. There's a billion pieces everywhere. So they actually said it's going to take like 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, but like an extremely long time to load if they were to ever upload it. But there's going to be no biomes, which is a bit sad. But then again, 6, and then the customizable one of your own isn't that bad. But I can understand why a lot of people are upset about that. Yeah, the popcorn machine is awesome to watch. Like, there's no popper in there, and there's like a giant mound of popcorn in there, but like flaked pieces start moving around, and it's pretty cool to see that. Just that alone is great to see. But anyway, yeah, back to the whole what they could have added. If you've never heard of, or you know how we have the steam train railroads in the game, the Con Express and Iron Horse? Well, they're not actually actually standard gauge. I think, no, I haven't actually measured, but I'm pretty much sure the locomotive pieces are standard gauge or a bit bigger. That doesn't mean that the ride is the same scale. But there could have been a Cagney, because this is the vintage pack. You know, it's supposed to be early 20th century. And I love this joke I did here. $2 per pop. This is popcorn. And I put like the movie signs on the side, you know. And I changed it to 1 because it's our first one. I don't want to get too confused. And here go the people watching the bandstand. Oh, no, she's sitting on the bench. And then I did put down the curb pieces. The bench was in the way, and then they just walk right through it. And I was actually getting mad at that point. You can see I'm moving the curb pieces up, and I just end up pushing the scenery piece back. It worked out all fine. I actually moved the vista point back because I thought there'd be a limit, but it turns out, no, there really isn't a limit how far they can go. Yep, there goes the popcorn machine. You see they just like bounce around in there, and then they actually like laugh and go like, whoa. It's pretty cool. I think it's worth it. I think the popcorn machine you didn't have to pay for, or you did, and the other vending machines were free. Okay. Now, back to this whole Cagney argument. So, technically, the steam train railroads in the game, oh, here I am colorizing the staff. I love this feature. So good. But anyway, they're not standard gauge. But if they made a gauge smaller, ironically, Cagney locomotives are 440s. It would be coal burners, and the engineer would sit on top of the coal load. The cab would barely go above the halfway point of his torso, or like where the arms are on that security guard. And he'd be sitting down, and you know, running the engine. It would go no faster than 10 miles an hour on his on a slope, or no slopes, 15 at most. You know, like a few benches. The benches are facing towards each other. You know, it's just I feel like it'd be great, and I'll continue on this in the next video because I gotta end this one here. So thank you guys for watching this. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help out a lot. Like the video if you enjoyed. Go buy the vintage pack. And here come the Quartet. I'm Casey Junior 9, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Casey out.
Žanas prieš nekada Ooh.